Hello, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Booth. I am Dan the Law Arena.
And I'm dreaming Tabitha. Of course I am.
Welcome to our video. We're going to be talking about Van Helsing.
Helsing. The movie.
worst Dracula movie ever.
Or is it? I mean, I don't know how you want to dive into this. We didn't sketch that out necessarily, but I mean, like, as it goes, this is a horrible Dracula film.
That's right.
It really is.
Just because it's not for Dracula.
But the thing is, it's not about Dracula. But I'm
That's
just saying,
right.
As an avid fan of Dracula, as far as Dracula is actually my favorite piece of classical literature. Okay.
Right.
I'm not like one of those peculiar folk who like to dress all in black. I have bats hanging out in my room and, all this kind of stuff like that. I may have some weird things you might notice on my shelf, but I'm not one of those people like, I want to live in a coffin or anything. But Dracula is like my favorite classic piece of literature. And so this is a weird rendition of Dracula. Like, this movie portrays him in a weird way. Like, he's kind of like
They took some liberties,
For sure.
I think it was not too bad.
Dude, he's like this, like, I don't know, this
like
poetical, weird, I don't know. Like, he's tough and menacing in a way, but I don't know. He's kind of girly in some ways.
Right. And then you kind of feel bad for him for a couple minutes and a couple of scenes, but then at the same time you don't.
I don't know that I feel bad for him because he's creepy, but not in the good creepy way. Like, he's in the uncomfortable creepy way. Like, ugh. Like, I don't know what it exactly is about him. It's almost like he's, because men can be elegant. When you read Dracula, he seems to be very much the gentleman. But in this movie, Dracula is like this weird, sometimes effeminate kind of dude. But then sometimes he's not, but he is a little bit menacing. Like, I don't know. I get a little bit confused. Like, there are some times where I like the Dracula in this movie, and then what's with that hairdo? Like, what is that? What was that?
It was like a man bun with long, I don't know, it was weird.
It was like a ponytail, but that had the touch of the 2000s, the early 2000s, or like 1999 with little greasy strings hanging down in front of his face. Like, I don't know. I was just, but the thing is, guys, we're not actually reviewing Dracula. We're reviewing Van Helsing. We had to throw that in there. For me, this is probably one of the worst movies depicting Dracula. But it's not about Dracula.
That's right. It's not about Dracula.
We got that out of the way.
Let's get out of the way here.
I just had to say it.
Yeah, that's right. Black Market Outpost. What's up, Jacob Ironside?
Yeah. He says he looks like an anime Dracula. Yeah, he's weird.
It is. Well, this whole movie kind of looks almost anime, cartoony, alive, thing. It's weird, but at the same time, I like it.
There are a lot of over-the-top action scenes for sure. And there are a lot of bizarre choices for costumes as well. But we're going to talk more about that later on because you guys know around here and Inside the Booth, we have a list of categories. And what's the first category we usually do, Ian?
We get into
magic.
The
plot. So, Dan, you know that I love hearing your rendition of a movie plot. So hit us with your best shot.
Well, goodness, I don't really have much. I don't think it's Van Helsing running around looking for bad guys and either bringing them into the Roman cathedral thing that he works for, or bring them in dead, basically. It's I don't know. It's like who you're gonna call for these monsters.
Helsing.
Van Helsing.
Van Helsing. What do you want?
Right. And so it's like and then he's helping this woman who subplotting for uh, destroying Dracula so that her family can get into heaven instead of staying stuck in purgatory.
Mm-hmm.
It's strange. It's about Van Helsing, but about that woman too. What is her name? I forgot her name. Um,
Anna, wasn't
yeah,
it?
Anna. Is that what it was?
Or was it Anastasia? I
Something like
forget
that. You know,
that.
the chick, the main chick there.
Kate Beckinsale, but yeah, it was Anna.
Yeah. Okay.
Anna Valerius, because the Valerius family is under some kind of
Yes.
like curse, is what it is.
Right. Right.
They're cursed that they can never enter heaven until Dracula is slain.
Yeah.
And given that Dracula is still alive in this movie and has been for hundreds of years, each family member has passed away slowly but surely, and there's
Yeah.
only, what is it, two offspring left, like
Yeah.
two in the family line.
Which was the brother and sister there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's my rendition of the plot. Not the best plot, but it was decent. It made the movie to make the
Mm-hmm.
movie happen, and you know, I'll give it a point just because it's an enjoyable movie to watch.
Because it was a plot, right?
Yeah, that's right. The movie was a plot. People, because of people.
Dan likes movies because they have people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the plot, I mean, it goes, like you said, there's, this is definitely a very interesting twist on this era. It's kind of got like this steampunk vibe to it with the gadgets, the gizmos, the costumes, which we'll dive in deeper later. But it's just, you
Right.
go through that. And so I honestly, I don't know about you, Dan, but by the way, guys, get yourself a koozie at our store to keep your drinks cozy.
That's it.
Inside the TV.com.
Slash
Get
shop.
you something /shop. And but this movie, if you honestly, when I first saw this movie, I thought that this was a spinoff of A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
like,
Right.
if you
Or
guys
it
have
was
seen
like
that
it
movie,
came out. It's about the same time too. So it's like
this is 2004, and yeah, it just kind
Yeah.
of, it had the same feel. Everything's really dark. There's a lot of like gimmicks, a lot of interesting props and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And so, but then yeah, like we said, the thing is, the movie is of course centered around Van Helsing, and that he
Yeah.
basically tries to help this girl destroy Dracula. And there's spoilers, guys. If you haven't seen this movie, sorry, go ahead and check
Yeah.
it out later on. But in the end, they tried to defeat Dracula. So Dracula is trying to ignite an army of offspring. For like 400 years, he and his three wives have been creating babies, but because he is undead, his children are born dead and they need life. Right. So there's a lot of characters in here. You've got Frankenstein's monster, you have
Yeah.
Igor, Dracula, you have Van Helsing, you have Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in
Yeah.
here.
That was cool.
That's why I thought it was a spin-off of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen,
Extraordinary
because there's
Gentleman.
so
Right.
many classic literature stories within this
Right.
one, which
Within there. Yeah.
which is such a cool twist to the film. And then they basically need a very powerful person, the essence of somebody or something, because they tried to use Frankenstein's monster to basically be electrocuted, and his power would go
Of
into
life
the
will go into the
exacts.
bat babies. Bat
Yeah.
babies. The
And
dead bat babies.
and they would come to life. The problem is that when they do, they don't last very long. There wasn't enough power, so they're going to try to get somebody else. And of course, Van Helsing's like, we have to stop this because of. So there's almost like these plots. There's almost like a plot within a plot in this movie. And then, long story short, at the
Oh,
end,
that's right. The Wolfman too.
Mhm.
Yep.
Van
They
Helsing
turn
turns into a werewolf.
Yeah.
And Anna, the princess, does eventually die after they kill or whatever Dracula. And she, at the end of the movie, she and her family, he gets to actually witness them going to heaven. So it is
I'm leaving purgatory. Goodbye.
it is kind of an interesting plot, because it's like it ends. Like I said, there's a plot within a plot. It does kind of end sadly, because this isn't a story about the guy getting the girl, right? That's usually how this goes.
Right.
But he rescued her, and that he set her, if you will, he set her soul free because of this curse. So I give the plot a point as well, because it's unique. this
Unique.
story.
Good,
It's a
good word.
Matthew's least interesting. That's what I say. There we go.
Interesting. Yeah.
Matthew's least favorite word when describing something is interesting. So I'm gonna go with unique, but I mean that in a positive way. And if you guys have seen this movie, let us know what you think about the plot as well. I've seen somebody already have said some of their thoughts, but share. We'd
Yeah.
like to know. So 2 points for plot. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Otherwise, then
Corin's Pattern Ghost says the same actor who played what does that say? Moriarty?
I don't know. If you bring it up, I can look at it. Moriarty.
Moriarty played in
That's
the
right.
league, played Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool.
That would be Richard Roxburgh. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. They do the whole Simba, I am your father scene. Do they?
Simba, I am your father.
Because the head is in
Remember who you are. Yeah, that it is a little campy, a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was strange. Yeah, anyways. Next would be acting. We love acting because we are also actors for your pleasure.
I'm like this all the time, 100%. Light with the light of 1,000 fairies. Of course I am. Every day,
I'm
bro.
like this all the time too. Yeah. Well,
Every
you know
day.
what they say? The world is a stage, and we are just acting on it, or something like that.
Alas, poor York. I knew him well. Acting.
So acting, I think they all did pretty well. Nothing seemed off. The only thing, well, I mean, we can get into that later. The only thing that seemed off was more of the cinematography side of things. But for acting, I think they did a pretty good job. Because I think they did do a lot of practical mixed with CGI stuff. So it was kind of, because it was that era where it's like we're getting into CGI, but yeah. So I will give it a point, just because I like Hugh Jackman too. I mean, he's the best Wolverine ever. So,
but does he make for the best Van Helsing?
He did a good job. I liked it.
Would you say he's better than Mel Brooks?
Well, nobody's better than Mel Brooks
as Van Helsing.
Have
you never seen Dracula Dead and Loving It?
I haven't. That's the only Mel Brooks movies I have never seen.
I am surprised.
I saw shocked. Yeah, I know. I saw the other one there with.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the other ones. Oh, so Leslie Nielsen plays as Dracula. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I don't remember. I think I have seen it, but I'm not. My memory is not, the best. So I might not remember a lot.
First time I saw that movie was in German. Laughed my butt off. Didn't even understand half of what was going on, but it was hilarious. Came back to the States, and my brother and I decided to watch it. We laughed so hard that we cried, and we couldn't make sound, and that we missed half of the movie. So immediately after it was done, we watched it again.
You're laughing so hard.
So. Acting, yeah. I mean, I think it's surprising, honestly, that Kate Beckinsale, she has become such a phenomenal actress, that this movie came out. This movie actually came out a year after Underworld, and which is one of her most notable, jobs. And it's interesting how Van Helsing is like a lighter, brighter side of Underworld, right? Like with these over-the-top scenarios, the crazy, mythological characters and stuff. And that, it's just kind of interesting how all of a sudden she's almost like for a little while, she was stuck in that kind of world, this like vampire kick butt hot chick,
Right.
But she did do a really great job. I like the fact that because, again, she is, what is her name? Is it Selena in the Underworld movies? Celine, that while these movies have some similarities, just again because the action adventure, some of the grimness, the vampires, all this stuff, how she was able to be really two completely different characters. You know how we kind of talk about how Liam Neeson and Harrison Ford tend to
Mm-hmm.
always be the same person no matter
Same
what
person.
movie they're doing. I admire the fact that she was a different person in this movie. With the similarities that are there, that can't have been easy. So, you know, in Underworld, she is a very confident, kind of arrogant, you know, kick butt kind of chick. In this one, she is a confident kick butt chick, but she has a little bit of compassion because of the whole family aspect with her brother and stuff like that. So it's just,
Right, right.
I think
And
she
plus,
did a
she's
really great job.
what's it? Transylvanian. So
Yeah,
she's got that accent.
yeah,
So that
yeah.
helps.
She's the princess of the gypsies, sure. But of course, you know, Hugh Jackman does a fantastic job. I mean,
Oh,
he's
of course.
he's just such a phenomenal actor. I like when they do movies like this that aren't necessarily, I guess you would consider this what, a B movie. It's not really top rated.
Well, it's not top notch, but I think they did spend a lot of money on it. So I don't think.
Right, but I isn't that what a B movie would be considered, where it's not really a blockbuster hit, but it was decent. So,
Oh, I don't
um,
know.
I don't know, but I give acting a point because. Okay, here's all right. Here's another reason I give acting a point.
Okay.
The wives of Dracula, I hate them so much. That's and why would I give the point for that? Because how awkward and embarrassing these women, no doubt they're intelligent women, but they're like acting all like this is when women
Gross and
see
stuff.
other
Yeah.
women act like this around like dudes, it is so cringy. I'm assuming this is what like macho manly men, this is how they feel when they see an effeminate man. So when you see a woman just like, just like, oh, I just need, I don't know, I can't even describe it. It sends chills up my spine. And the fact that they're so cringy and they sold that part so well is another reason that I'll give this acting a point, because that was awful.
Which was the first wife that died? I forget her name.
Mishka?
Witchka, Mamishka, whatever it was. Yeah, something.
We lost Mishka.
Yeah, and he's like, "It's okay. I'll get another wife.
I'll just get another bride." Yeah, and all of a sudden they're like,
"Do you have no heart?" He goes, "No, I have no heart."
Yeah, the acting is way over the top, and so it's good. But it's kind of like good fun at the same time. Mariska, that's what it is. You know, one of these stereotypical kind of names: Alira, Mariska, and Verona. You know, all Transylvanian names. You know, every name in Hungary and places roundabout end in A. Did you guys not know that? There's no spice of life. There's no variety.
Yeah, you know.
Did you know my name is Hungarian? You know,
no.
Tabitha, of course, because it ends in an A. So is Dan. His last name ends in an A. You guys didn't know he's from Romania.
With an A, ends in an A.
Yeah,
it's Italian.
So he's like double the fun. He's like Romanian, Hungarian, all at the same time.
That's it. Sicilian. Yeah. You know. So anyway, let's hit the next one.
Dan's favorite, cinematography.
Yeah, cinematography. So I do enjoy it. I don't believe it was filmed at night, just because they have a lot of that blue, like like we usually talk about.
That was the era, though, wasn't it?
It was. So it is dark, but at the same time, it's like they got that blue tint on everything because it's supposed to be dark outside or something. Other than that, I do like. I especially like the beginning of the movie where it's black and white. That's was
what I was gonna
phenomenal.
Say. Yeah,
man, that was
good choice.
Yeah, even the CGI, even though they filmed it all in color, right? And then they even did the whole CGI everything in color and stuff like that. Cinnamon toastography. I like that.
That's right. It's the taste you see.
So even they filmed everything in color, and then they went back and put it in black and white. the CGI looks great in black and white.
Black and white.
I love the way it looks in black and white.
Mhm.
It's even better than in color, you know.
Yeah, it
And
kind of hides a lot of flaws.
yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does, doesn't it?
It meshes it well.
They should have done the kind of think they should have done the whole movie almost black and white, but you know, I mean,
Kind of like Young Frankenstein.
yeah,
Yes.
Young Frankenstein.
That
Funny.
would have been really cool.
That
Van
would have
Helsing in black and white. It would have really elevated some of the creepiness to it.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, you know, I do like it. I do like how they mix the CGI with, you know, practical effects and stuff. So, you know, I'll give it a point. Yeah, I'll give it a point. You know, there's a couple janky scenes where, you know, the CGI is not the greatest, you know. But a lot of it, some of it is really good. Like how when some of those bat wives turn to normal or turn into bats, some of it looks really good and how they transition them turning into.
Oh yeah, when she's like on the banister and she transitions from her ghostly figure into the apparently the Arabian belly dancer.
Right.
That was really well done. But when she dies, that was horrible.
It was bad.
That was horrible.
So so it's got its goods and its flaws, and I think a lot of the being more of a darker movie, you know, like physically darker, I think it hides some of the flaws that it does have.
Yeah, you can kind of get away with some stuff.
Yeah, and you can get away with watching it and not getting too, you know, cringed out and be like, this is horrible. Change, blip, blip, blip. You know.
Yeah, it's that easy.
So you know, I'll give it a point. I liked it. You know,
there are some things about it that I do like. You know, we kind of encompass cinematography in many ways. You know, coloring, camera angles, lighting, and things like that. So it's, you know, there's a lot going on there.
That's what cinematography.
I think there were a lot of cool camera angles. For sure. I love the fact that, like you had mentioned, there's a lot of practical effects in this movie, you know, even though this was kind of during an era when people were moving away from staged stuff, you know.
Right.
The fact that, like, for example, one of my favorite scenes, strictly from a props perspective, okay, not because I like the scene exactly, okay,
right.
is when they're with the egg sacs and he just reaches and tears that thing apart and all this goo, and yuck is like pouring out of this
real,
egg sac, and it's on his hands like a giant glob of snot, and he just flicks it and you can hear the splatter. Of course, that might have been added later, but still, like, that scene was also really good because, like you said, everything was in the darkness. And thanks everybody for being here, by the way. The darkness,
in a minute.
but it has the, you know, that area there, you know, well lit with the glowing kind of greenish substance, and like I don't know what kind of chemical substance, what exactly that was, but it must have, if you think about when they were filming this, how much brighter it probably was. So that when they darken everything, this still stays pretty bright. Because when they see the face that's inside of it, I mean, you think it's kind of hidden in the shadows. And then that thing gave me a jump scare. Okay.
Yeah,
like I knew it was coming. I rewatched this. I knew it was coming. But I literally freaked out every time. But yeah, and you know, some of the jump scenes where the camera actually follows them as they're jumping is kind of a gimmick, but I like it. But at the same time, I don't think that the coloring was necessarily equal throughout.
No,
like there was a lot of changes, a lot of differences that for me, the contrast was too elevated for me to really give this category a point, if I'm being honest. Gotcha. So I give it no point because it's like some moments were like natural lighting, some moments were in the darkness with the blue, some were kind of a grayish aspect. Then we have all these warm colors and warm tones, and make up your mind.
Right.
Make up your mind. A lot of the scenes were done well, but I just didn't feel like they were in sync, like in harmony. I don't think they float for me personally.
Right. Gotcha. Well, that being said, let's take a commercial break.
Commercial break.
Woo!
Talking about the stuff that we sell, provide, extend to you for not just a limited time, but forever.
Forever, that's right. So what is it that we do here? I'll tell you.
What is this place? What is it that you do here? Merchandising. Merchandising, merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's true. It's true.
That is beautiful. www.insidetheboottv.com/shop. Go find something cool to buy. It helps us. It helps you because you'll be dressed in a t-shirt. And it'll help us because it'll show off our stuff.
Merchandise. What we do around here. Plus that gentle nip in the air that will eventually become a snarling bite of winter.
Right. Get a sweatshirt.
Get you a sweatshirt.
We got hoodies. Hoodies, everybody. Hoodies. Who doesn't like a hoodie?
And they are super comfortable. And you could be sporting some of the best people in the world.
That's right. And we got
Matthew and
bunch
David.
of designs, everybody. Bunch of designs. Also, don't forget to vanquish that like button. Subscribe to the channel. And
Want to ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
Ding.
because you want to ring the bell.
You want to, like, listen to it, but you want to. You want
That's
to
right.
ring the bell.
To
because we go live every Tuesday and every Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you don't want to miss what we have to say. And sometimes we give you a special bonus video on the weekends where we do movie trailer reaction videos. If you haven't seen our latest one, we reviewed.
People seem to like them.
RRR. Which we have been thoroughly educated on, knowing that it is a Tollywood film, not a Bollywood film. So excuse our ignorance. We humbly beg your forgiveness. But excluding all that, go check out our previous video where we reacted to the trailer RRR. You're not going to want to miss what Dan has to say about it.
That's right. Also, if you like what we do here, consider becoming a supporter on Patreon.
Absolutely.
Because what was it, last Tuesday? I think it was. We decided to do a Patreon stream.
Member panel, yeah,
member panel. So all you Patreon members will be able to do that once in a while once we put something together.
Mm-hmm. It was a lot of fun.
Also, you know, supporting us helps us to do what we do here and make it happen even more.
Get better and better. Onwards and upwards.
That's right. Go onward and upward, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah. And then after that, let's just say hello to everybody that has shown up already and
just chosen to sit with us inside the booth.
Joker voice came in early, left early. But you know, that's okay. We got Black Market Outpost, Jacob Ironside, Carwins, is that how you say it? Corwins,
Pattern Ghost.
And then we got Uncle Mike. And then we got my mom, Sheila.
Hello.
And then we got Gravy D, Mrs. Martin Muse, Miss Martin Muse, and Andy Masterson. Yeah. He's the master. So welcome.
Yes, welcome.
Another slimy bad guy in the mummy.
Oh yeah, exactly. He played as Benny, I think it was, and he plays Benny in the Mummy.
Oh yeah. That was the hunchback dude. Yes.
Yeah.
I
love him in
and he's
in the
good.
Mummy. He's funny.
Good in the Mummy as well. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good actor.
He's pretty funny.
Well,
do we want to?
Yes.
So, anyways,
get back to the review.
Music.
Music. What? We
We
didn't talk about props and costumes, but that's okay.
Because we're gonna do it after we quickly say if we like the music or not. I
Oh,
think it
okay.
was decent. I'll give it a half a point, just because it was good, but at the same time, it wasn't like Gladiator or something.
You wouldn't be humming this little ditty 15 years from now?
No. I don't know. Maybe not.
Me neither. It's one of those things where the music, it was good for the film, like it fit. It was good action sequences and different things like that. But yeah, it wasn't something that I nothing to write home about, as the old saying goes. So I think I'm going to give it a half a point, just because it wasn't anything brilliant, but it was good for. It didn't hurt the movie. Let me put it this way.
Right. Well, since we quickly discussed music, which we're not going to do too much of, let's talk about costumes and props, because we are in the beautiful season of costuming and propping. Well, you go out on a nice one of those days that you go out and do stuff.
Every day.
Yes. It's Dan, Helsing, and Tabitha. That's right. That's why I wore the hat. By the way, speaking of, I don't know, I want to show it off.
Speaking of costumes, Dan has got to show you one of his latest projects that he has handmade. Guys, made it by hand, handmade. This beautiful piece right here. Custom Captain Hook hat.
That's right. Oh, the feather moved a little. Oh, the heck. What side is it on?
Well, it's magic, Dan, so of course they're going to try to escape. It's a magical hat. But yeah, Dan made this by hand. So Dan, since you seem to be something of a prop and costume master there, with this newfound appreciation for costume making, what did you think of the costumes in the film?
I enjoyed all the costumes. They were very nice, very elegant, very cool. I loved them. And yes, the Three Musketeers. Yeah, it's kind of like one of them hats. Yeah. But I like the costumes in this movie. It's I don't know. It was really nice to see. The time periods, and it's like a mixture of different things. You got the monks.
Oh yeah, these were not accurate pieces to the time, for sure. Yeah, these were like well exaggerated articles of clothing.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I liked the costuming. It was good. So
yeah,
I guess that's all I got to say.
There were some really beautiful pieces that may not necessarily have fit the time period, because this is like late 18th century, maybe early 19th century, maybe something like that, maybe like 1884.
Almost had a steampunk feel on some of the costumes.
Right, exactly. There's like the steampunk vibe to this movie, which is pretty cool. You don't really see that a lot. And so there's a mixture of fabrics and different things like that. A lot of bustiers for the ladies, of course. But the thing that gets me really confused, and I briefly mentioned that earlier, is like, so you have a lot of course, in movies like this, you're going to have a lot of leather, a lot of buckles, that kind of stuff, and which they looked fantastic and everything. I just don't get the costume for the wives of Dracula. Like, they don't make any sense, because like I said, they're like these weird belly dancer Arabian kind of costumes. Like, they look so cheap, like the jewelry and everything like that, which is weird. Maybe because they were banking on how beautiful these women were and the fact that their chests were half hanging out, that nobody would notice how awful these costumes were, and the jewelry and stuff like that. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Not only that, like the color contrast for the rest of the film, because these women are not even the stars of the show, right? Anna is, right. Kate Beckinsale's character is, but even though they put some red and things like that in her outfit, and they did, like in the top part of her shirt, her blouse, it was brighter colored and stuff like that. They made them stand out more than the main actress, and I find that to be a little strange. They didn't really fit into this movie. Right. So I don't understand that part.
But at the same time, it seemed to kind of fit at the same time. I don't know.
How?
No, just because the movie's weird, and so everything in it was kind of awkward, you know.
Well,
But at the same time, like to
I
me,
don't
it's
know
it.
about awkward. I think over the top and exaggerated. Yes, so that made everything mesh really well. This doesn't even fit where they're at. Like it doesn't. It has like no resemblance to like Transylvanian, Hungarian.
Look at what Soul Assassin says. He says he always thought that Dracula's brides were from Middle East, since the real Dracula was at war and spent time with the Turks.
Well, exactly. They were, but not all of Turkey is part of that. Part of Turkey is actually part of Asia, and part of Turkey is in Europe. Turkey, if I'm not mistaken, has nothing to do with the Middle East. So, Turkey's not part of the Middle East, even though they have a lot of customs that are similar. Turkey, if you want to go into the historical route, Turkey is a hub of different groups of people because of the trade route.
Right?
Not exactly. Like there's but there's a difference between being a belly dancer and let's just I'm gonna go that route. Misrepresenting like cultural appropriation. I take that with a grain of salt, but I'm like these were wearing like Barbie pink clothing or the bright yellow. It just doesn't make any sense.
Gotcha. I don't know. Maybe Dracula liked the bright colors. You know, maybe he was like, we gotta change your outfits because the colors are bad. You don't know. It's been 100 years or something. I don't know.
I don't understand it. It makes me upset.
Too much.
Oh, sure. That's my job here. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But those are my thoughts. Props, loved them. Some of the outfits, loved them. Those ones and those women, it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't like
like
women.
those saw things in the beginning that Van Helsing had. It was like little saw.
Oh, yeah, those
what were they?
hands.
Like they were like hands with circular saws on them. And it was weird, but that was so cool.
Yeah, when he chopped off Dr. Jekyll's
his arm,
Mr. Hyde's arm, and it just kind of shriveled away into normal.
to normal, and he was like, weird. "Oh
no!" I know he was so casual about it. It was casual about when his arm died. I mean, he was upset, but he was just like, "Oh, you cut off my arm. I'm gonna kill you now." Right. And then when he got thrown off the building, and he was like, "Oh crap." So this has a little bit of humor into it.
Yeah, there is humor in this movie, that's for sure. I think that's what makes it enjoyable. It's got some comedy, and it's the action is kind of isn't like let's say superhero action. It's more like it's like kind of fun action. It's like a fun action to watch. Because like you said, it's so over the top. It's like so ridiculous, but it's fun to watch. I don't know why.
Right.
I kind of like RRR is gonna be when I watch it. So over the top. So
fun.
It'll be fun to watch.
Well, so
that's costumes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess then we got last but not least over here. The allegory. So allegory, you go first.
Me?
Yeah, why not?
Anyway, I was gonna go on some tangent about some rant about the wives again, and I'm like, leave it alone, Tabitha. Just leave it alone. But man, I really want. Man, don't settle for a man who will just replace you at the push of a button. Let me put it there. There's my
well, Dracula's been around for hundreds of years, so
like,
I guess
we lost her. Mariska died. Just get a new one, and they're all aghast.
Look,
if a man is willing to share the rest of his life with you and 2 other women, you don't need that man because that man don't need you.
That's right.
That's not my allegory, but that's the one I went with because it just I can't help it. Like,
all right, give us a real allegory.
That is a real allegory.
Oh, well,
all right, you mean one that's a little bit more solemn and mature? Okay.
All right. Yeah. One that kind of follows suit.
Well, look. Oh, sure. So my allegory has to follow suit, but their outfits are totally fine because they're inappropriate and wrong. And so, well, yeah, exactly. Sorry, I was reading something, but
that's fine.
The allegory, like another one that I was kind of going to, is just integrity and valor, things like that. So Van Helsing, there was a time where there's a time where Anna wants to kill Frankenstein's monster, and he was like, "No, don't do it." And she's like, "What? How can you do that?" And he was saying that he can sense when somebody is evil, and he said this creature was made from evil, but he himself is not evil. And just different elements of this movie, he really sticks to his beliefs, and even when there's difficult decisions to be made. So, for example, also in this movie, Anna's brother gets turned into a werewolf, and she's trying to save him, and he tries to kill him, and she's like, "How could you do that?" He's like, "Because he's already gone." He's like, "He is not your brother. He's not." And he's like, "It's my job. I've got to." It's for. He's like, that man will kill people. He's like, he's going to ruin lives, and it's difficult. It's difficult to stick to something that kind of goes against the grain. But and please don't think I'm going around saying it's okay to kill. Please come on, some common sense out there, people. But I'm just going like we're reaching for the allegories a lot of times when it comes to these over the top films. But it's just that's something that's lost. In places like our police, our military, our school system, heck, just even with the cashier at Walmart, sticking to integrity and valor, and looking at the bigger picture of things and not self-serving, right? You can't tell me that was a job. I forget he was like born into that kind of career or something. So of course this is like a science fiction fantasy film. So, belief systems are what they are. But just overall, I just look at it's like just even that moment of compassion too. It's when he said this man was made from evil, but he himself is not evil. And sometimes when we look at our brethren, our fellow countrymen and things like that, and the situations, just kind of looking beyond and be like, man, some of these kids that we see out here today, show a little pity, show a little love. They were born into evil, They didn't choose to be in the situation that they're in, and you could make a difference showing a little compassion, because that's what Christ did for us. Right. So, and also, do not stick with a man who would marry 2 other women. Okay, all right, I'm out.
That's it. Woo! Mine was kind of more on redemption and a little bit about the Frankenstein monster. Soul Assassin does ask the question though: which castle would we want to spend the night in? Dracula's castle or Frankenstein? I'd say
Frankenstein's castle's not real, so I guess I'd have to go with Dracula's.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably
I'd have to go with
myself.
I don't know. If I was gonna pick a castle, it'd be Neuschwanstein, but that's another category. So
yeah. So redemption, and because Van Helsing was on a path to also search for his past because he had no memory of anything,
right?
And then he finds out that he's the right hand of God, Gabriel, the Archangel Gabriel. I don't know how that happens, but
I was going to say, not only do we have Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolf Man, we've got angels, man. Like we're covering all our bases.
Angels, that's right. The Frankenstein monster had a Bible that he was reading, and he quoted it a few times in the movie, so that was fun. It's though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil,
So when the Bible says that he literally will save all mankind, whosoever comes to him, even Frankenstein's monster, if you have died and come back to life as 7 other people, you still have a chance to make it in, guys.
And and then I was saying redemption for like the Anna's families and stuff. They're going to be stuck in purgatory unless something happens. And then God brings somebody into your life, and not that purgatory's a real place. That's theological stuff that we can get into later, but sometimes in our physical body we're in a place that we shouldn't be in, in our mind and stuff like that. And then when God comes to rescue us, when Jesus comes in, he brings somebody in our pathway to help us through our hard times, to actually get out of that, so that we can go to heaven eventually when we die. So, so that's kind of like what I took out of it. Taking Van Helsing is the guy who knows Jesus, comes to this woman's aid, and not really tells her about Jesus, but kind of helps her along her
He
journey.
lets her die so she can go to heaven. Find you a friend like Van Helsing, guys.
Well, I mean, well, he was the one that kind of killed her, isn't he?
That's a real true friend right there.
That's right.
Oh, you want to go to heaven? Let me help you with that. Okay, all right. Maybe get better friends, guys.
That's it. Get better friends. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. God puts people in your path to show you a brighter way.
Yeah, or a better way of how to get through your situations.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's good.
It's pretty good.
Thanks.
That's right.
So I'll say there's an allegory, so I'll give it a point.
I gave 2 allegories. I feel like mine should have 2, or at least that one allegory deserves 2 points because I'm right. I'm right.
Right.
Leave that man. No, I'm sorry. Let me calculate all the possible points here while Dan tries to hypnotize you or something.
When you do that calculating thing, we need one of those things to put on one of the overlays where it's got numbers that come in and out. Anyways, you all know what I mean, right? Don't forget, everybody.
You gotta tell them Silent Breed is people!
We haven't used that one in a while, but
guys,
Silent Breed is people.
It hasn't happened yet as far as we know, guys, but we don't know that we're officially eating people as of yet, but it is 2022 and we only have 2 more months left in this year. So be vigilant. Okay. You don't know what the government's going to bring in December. Food prices are high. If all of a sudden around Thanksgiving we start getting little green blocks that are like half price, watch out. Just saying. You got
and I did hear that they're changing ingredients in different other foods. So who knows? Maybe that ingredient will be people.
They're going to try to fool you with the crickets first, and then they're coming for Tabitha. Okay?
That's right.
If you don't see me for a while on Inside the Booth, they got me. No, so out of 10 possible points, how many do you think this movie got, Dan?
9.
Ooh, you wrong.
Oh, am I? I didn't really think about it.
That's okay. We have on the official Inside the Booth piece of paper here, that I randomly found and pulled out from my desk. Out of 10 possible points, this movie gets a 7. 7 out of 10 points, which is not bad. So while we did start off the show with this is the worst Dracula movie ever, in my opinion, I will say that this is a super fun movie to watch. Like it is. It really is, because it's over the top, but it's well done. Except for those wives. And, you can really enjoy the storyline because you do have to think a little bit because there is a plot within a plot. So it's not just some simple kind of, B movie, and you can, again, appreciate the costumes. The music is very fitting for everything. And it's a fun and different kind of movie, I think, for Hugh Jackman to be sure. Like, he executes this well.
Yeah.
We all know that he can be, you know, an action-packed superstar from like Wolverine and other movies.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is a different kind of action pack. He's very methodical. He doesn't act rashly rather. It's good. If you haven't seen it, and hopefully we haven't ruined it for you with our spoilers, but you should watch it. You should check it out. It's a super fun movie. It also created directed by the same guy who directed The Mummy. So if you enjoyed The Mummy by Stephen Sommers, you most likely will like this movie as well.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I don't think this movie had got enough credit when it first came out. You know,
yeah,
it's one of those. What do they call them? Guilty pleasures. You know, where you watch it because it's not that great of a movie, but you know it's fun.
It's fun. Exactly. Like Godzilla 2000 or 1999 is for me. A lot of people hate that movie. I freaking love it. Love it.
Right.
Would watch it every day. Love it.
Yeah, kind of like what was that movie we were just talking about? That you thought this movie was a spin-off of Extraordinary
League of Extraordinary.
Yeah.
So it's a long title.
It is. The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen is also one of those guilty pleasure movies that I like to watch.
Yeah,
because it's fun. You know, it didn't get a lot of ratings or whatever, but you know what? Oh, by the way, we do have that as a review from last year, so go ahead and maybe check that out. Maybe I'll put a link up somewhere.
Yeah.
As one of them card, you know, those card things in the corner. Anyways, yeah. Maybe I'll put that up there when this is done. Whooshing, you know, processing. And
what kind of sound was that? Whooshing.
I don't know, just the speed of the processing bar, I guess.
Nice. Whooshing.
And so I'll put that up there. And you guys can check that one out as well.
Absolutely.
Stinkin' the cartoon spinoff of Godzilla 98 is better. I don't know.
It was okay.
I'd say. I do know that my costume for Captain Hook, I will show it off once it's done. All right, everybody.
Are you going to post a picture on Twitter?
I'll post pictures on Twitter and here on on YouTube community page. Did you know the community page now you don't even have to have 500 subscribers? Like
that's what I heard. I saw on Twitter, which you guys can follow us on Twitter at Inside the Booth and Instagram and Facebook, so you can be caught up with everything that we do.
That's right. Follow us everywhere, everybody. Also, got a Facebook page. Oh,
and also we have a special episode coming this Tuesday where we're bringing back Girls Night.
That's right.
So no boys allowed. Girls Night, not just for the ladies though. So I'm going to have an awesome guest panel. I'm going to have the Force of Light Entertainment here. I'm also going to have Lorena Creole and the Geeky Crochets coming back with us. So if you enjoy our previous Girls Nights, you're really going to want to stick around for this upcoming Girls Night. It's going to be pretty stupid. So of course, Girls Night is awesome. So yeah, come on in. It's going to be fantastic. Should prove to be a very fun, very interesting stream. And so again, ring that notification bell if you haven't already, so that you get updated on Tuesday for our next episode.
That's right. And if you want to know, Soul Assassin, things are going to be real hooks or whatever for my costume, just keep following. We'll let you know, or send me a message, private message me. I'll let you know. So thanks everybody. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, ding the bell, and vanquish the like button. Bang, bang, bang. And that's it for tonight, everybody. I want to say good night. Have fun. We love you all. Bye-bye.
I like you all right.
Yeah, well.
Are you not entertained?